Hey folks, Jonathan here. We're working on the lobes, trying to get them narrowed up to be the same as these. And right here. And let me see. Let me show you. I bought some new inserts. Cheap China inserts, but they seem to be working really good. I'm not getting the chipping as like I was before on the other one, and they seem to be sharp and cutting good. You know, the problem is with this is you got an interrupted cut, and every time it would come, you know, to the lobe to start cutting again, you know, it would hit pretty hard. But it's not doing too bad on this. And I'm cutting from the inside back, and the reason I'm doing that is that the bushing inside, I don't want it to try to push the bushing because it's so thin. I want to be able to cut it out this way. Plus, it don't jump into that interrupted cut so fast. And I'm not taking much at all. Instead of a hit, and you know, it's more of a good cut when it hits that lobe. So we're going to get these narrowed up. We're going to get them narrowed up, and then I'll get these chucked up and get them cut off, and we'll bore them and put our new lobes on. Okay folks, just wanted to show you the before and after basically of these lobes, and you can see the difference in the thickness. And so we've got this one done. We're going to do this one, and I want to show you another thing too. You know, I for the pin and that other one I drilled a hole, but they didn't drill a hole in these. They put a slot, and this is the first gear I've had because I just bought the other lobe separate. So anyway, that'd make it a lot easier, but I don't know what I'm going to do on this one. I'll have to look and see. I don't reckon it, you know, makes much difference. All right, show you more. Okay folks, we've got them both turned down. They're exact same thickness, but we run into a little tiny issue. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal, but as you can see the little hole there. That hole is where they drilled through, and evidently they didn't do the depth on all of them the same, because I didn't go through on that one, but I did this one. But what we're going to do, I'll just I might taper it first and then put a little weld there, just something to keep it, you know, keep it from ever wearing through there. I don't think it will, but I don't want to take any chances on it, so that's not a big deal. But both lobes are done, ready to go, and we can start doing our gears now. I think that'll work out really nice. I was glad to be able to turn them. There's a little tiny bit of a chip, maybe, you know, at the edge on this one. This one's perfect. What I done was this was the second one. I machined most of it, and it was chipping some, and then I flipped the insert over because this stuff is really, really hard. So I mean, it was hard on the insert to be able to do that. But I think the surface is good enough. I don't even need to hit it with the surface grinder, so we're good to go. I'll get on the gears. Okay folks, getting ready to try to melt some brass down. We're going to see how this works. Got it in a cast iron crucible. I don't have a graphite. I'm going to pour an ingot out of this, and hopefully I can get something about a ½ inch thick to where I can do some machining. I used all my brass up in my plate, my ½ inch plate, or most of it, and I need a bigger piece. So we'll see how this works out. Okay folks, I ended up doing it the same way they done it. Just put a slot in it, and good to go. Okay folks, I'm trying to melt some brass out there too, and everything I've read, I got to add a little bit of aluminum to it, but they say you lose the zinc out of it. But anyway, and I don't know if it's going to help or not, but I'm going to throw some 82 watt pennies in it, and I know there's a lot of zinc in the, as long as they're 1982 and newer, but I don't know, that might replace it or not. We'll know when we get the ingot for it, because I'm going to try to machine it, and we'll see what, you know, what it looks like. It don't have to be anything with any strength. I just don't want it cracked up and a lot of porosity or anything. We'll see how it works out. Okay, so far so good. We've still got to pull the bearing retainer off, and we're going to countersink inside to clear this stuff, because we want to bring this probably within about 10 thousandths off of the bolts and the plate. Now, I don't know how thick the washers are. These are less, of course, but this is what we had before holding them out. So we'll probably do it whatever the thickness this is. And hopefully I can clear that bolt. I'm sure I can. But yeah, it'll clear that no problem. I didn't have anything small enough to get into that little cast iron thing to get the dross off of it, so it actually, this was the top. You can see the dross, but I ground on it a little bit. It looks like a penny. I don't know. I don't know what I made. I really don't know what all I had in it there, but as you can see, I think there's plenty of impurities in it. But anyway, we're going to machine it some and just see if I can get a good. If I can get a 1/4 inch thick piece, which this thing is about, at the smallest place is 9/16 maybe, up to about 3/4. So I don't need much, but I just need a piece, you know, big enough to make what I need to make. But I don't know what it actually is. I guess it's copper. I might have had too much copper in it, or got some copper in it. I don't know. Copper and brass, and I did throw them pennies in there for the zinc, and I did put some aluminum in it. But so we'll just see what it looks like after I mill it, machine it a little bit in a little while, and then we'll know. So anyway, it's nice and heavy, and I dropped it. It's got a good sound to it, but it don't, you know, don't break or anything. I mean, it's pretty darn hard. So, I don't know. We'll see what it is in a little bit. Okay folks, here's our brass, copper, aluminum penny bar, whatever you want to call it. Not quite sure what it is. I didn't go down real far, so I didn't get all the little marks out, but I'm really not worried about what I need it for. And it'll work just fine. But it's 440 thousandths thick. I was shooting for a 1/2 inch, you know, 500, but you know, I didn't melt enough, I guess. I was kind of in a hurry just to get it finished up. So anyway, we just machined it off just a little bit, and basically what I'm going to build is another. I'm going to use this for a points plate. I wanted another one. I really wanted a brass one, but whatever this is, we'll live with it. But I'm going to build one that's a little different than the other one, with a handle, and you know, my choice was to do it out of steel or do it out of aluminum or do it out of, you know, brass or bronze, and I wanted to do it out of this. I just thought it'd look better. And I don't like machining on aluminum. It's just not my preference. It's not my preference to put aluminum billet on a new model engine. And you know, I guess I could have done it out of steel, but either way, we got a piece now, so it'll work out just fine. And anyway, I've done some more aluminum. I'll show you that. Okay, we poured this one here, and it's a little bigger than the other ones, but if you look really hard, you can see David's pistons in there somewhere. But But that's it. That's all the aluminum I've got. There's probably was over 50 pounds there, so we've got enough to do some more cases when we're ready. And I'll show you what I got done on the engine today. Okay, we got the cam lobes done and on and narrowed, and one of these was an aftermarket gear. This one wasn't, and this one was because it didn't have no indentation on it. So, but I was still able to do it the same way, so worked out just fine. So we've got our cams done, and then I've got our plate recessed. So it's done, and so now we've got to finish up the pins. The pins will be, you know, 1/2 inch on the ends, and then the 14mm for the cam gears. And what I'll probably have to do is raise these slots for my cam followers. I'll have to raise them to match the bigger lobe. So which shouldn't be a problem. We can machine that real quick. Like I said, this is done. We just I've got the pins ready to start turning. So we should be, depending on what happens tomorrow toe wise, we may be able to throw it back together tomorrow, and I'll probably just use this mag long enough to fire it back up. Anyway, I think I'm going to call it a night, and appreciate everybody watching, and we'll get back rolling on this, and maybe get her together tomorrow. All right, bye.